Okay, I've played with this for about a month or so now, and I actually quite like it, but it's not good enough for anyone else. It's only good enough for me. It's about a 6.5 out of 10, I'd say. And I've only ever come across a 10 once in my life before, and that was a guitar which used to belong to one of the old 60s blues guys in London back in the day, Alexis Corner, and it was a white hollow body Gibson of some description, and it was gorgeous. Holy shit. When you tuned it, when it got to the right note, it would kind of blossom. It was a miraculous machine. It's almost impossible to play a bum nose on it. Everything sounds like it was just really, really smooth jazz. But yeah, that was a 10. The next closest I've come to a 10 was a 12 string, I think also a Gibson, red one, which used to belong to ABBA, and for some reason it was for sale in New Zealand. I don't know how that happened, but I should have nicked it or something. I couldn't afford it, I should have stolen it. And I bought a 68 Strat and an 80s Telly, and they are about 8.5. I just shut that end of things. Yeah, cool. It is about the size of a banjo. It's quite small. So I feel a bit weird playing it on stage, I think. If I was going to make one of these to play on stage, and I will, it'd have to be kind of probably quite a bit bigger. Well, not that much bigger. It'll have to be, about an inch around the edge and a bit kind of heavier. When this is ideal for sitting on the sofa and playing in bed and whatnot, because it doesn't take up much space and it doesn't have 8 kilograms of wood knocking about. But this is quite small because I've got some wood that I want to make. Okay. It is a swamp kauri chopping board. And this is designed so I can make one out of that. And that's about 30,000 years old, and somebody turned it into a chopping board, for fuck's sake. Who knows? So I've got that, and I've got a massive piece of swamp kauri over there, about so high, but the top of it is the same size as that. So if I'm going to make the most of it, it'd be good to have little guitars, travel guitars. But now I'm intimately familiar with all of its shortcomings, it's time to move on to the next one, I think. And shortcoming number one is, much as I like that rather idiosyncratic whammy bar department, it's not going to do, is it? Because what it is it's a whammy bar for a headless guitar, so all the tuners are supposed to be here and headless here. But I don't like headless here. I think it looked weird. It looks like the end of your cock's missing. So what I did is I took all the tuners out and I made another headstop for that. And the bolts where that held the tuners in place, you can actually use to put guitar strings through, even though they're at a slight angle. And it works very well, but it's kind of, it only goes down like a tone, like 2 semitones. Mainly because I want it to be really flexible as to what kind of guitar it can go onto. So the bass plate can be laser cut, like bespoke one-offs, one at a time, with no routing, so they can theoretically fit on any guitar without having to, drill extra holes or do extra routing. Possibly with the exception of a Dan Electro 59, where I've made the AK47 of whammy bar things, and the reason that the AK47 kind of design philosophy is that easy to repair, easy to service. So if you're somewhere inconvenient, like New Zealand or, being shot at in Afghanistan or somewhere like that, you've got a much better chance of being able to fix it with bits and pieces that are just lying around. So that's the idea of that. Everything that comes off this is just straight off the industrial supply chain. So it's like, standard 8mm stainless steel rods, sort of collars that 3D printers use, Fender Stratocaster springs, Fender Stratocaster sort of waggly thing. And I'll have to do a bit of sort of CNC work on the brass, I think, that holds that up. But other than that, so the new one, version 4, will sort of be designed around that, even though this is designed to be able to attach to anything. And I'm thinking of having like one of those sort of slidey pickup drummers as well, although that does leave a whacking great hole in the middle of your guitar, so I don't know if you want that. So there you go. Yeah, so there you go. Well, this, part of the reason this is taking a hell of a lot longer than how long it would take normal people to do it is that I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm kind of learning how the geometry fits together from scratch, and in so doing making the same mistakes as so many before me. I quite like reinventing wheels. It sort of comes from my computer programming days. It's something you're always warned against, don't reinvent the wheel, particularly not on your client's dime. However, if you do reinvent the wheel, then you become the wheel. You really understand it at a sort of... you understand the wheel at a level which allows you to be true to your materials. Does that make sense? There's a thing with... I don't know, Aleister Crowley, like the Western kind of mystics and sort of occultists and whatnot, had this idea that if you were going to be using magical implements like swords or daggers or whatever, then you needed to make them yourself. And I quite like the idea of that. If you're going to be a real purist about it, not only do you have to make your own sword yourself, you also have to make the tools that you use to make it yourself and smelt your own iron. And the further back down the technology tree you can go, the more powerful as an instrument of magic it will be. It's got one of those red rubber things to stop the strap falling off. Dime.